He'll need your office. That's how Patrick Roswell erased 18 years of my career in 4 words. My name's Kevin Walsh, I'm 47 years old, and I was about to show him what happens when you mistake quiet competence for weakness. I was halfway through fixing a production scheduling system that hadn't worked right since 2018 when CEO Patrick Roswell leaned into my doorway, all smug and expensive cologne, and dropped those words on me like a wet bag of concrete. No hello, no warning, no explanation. Just a casual announcement that my workspace was being reassigned to his son Ryan, fresh out of MBA school with a supply chain minor and a LinkedIn full of business quotes and golf photos. I'd been with this manufacturing tech company for 18 years. No scandals, no sick days, no drama, just quiet fixes, overnight reports, and the kind of institutional knowledge you don't put in a manual but absolutely need when your entire production backend is held together by experience and trust. And now this kid who once asked me if our ERP system had an undo for real life button was going to park himself in my chair and hang his MBA diploma where my production flowcharts used to be. I smiled. Of course, that's all I said, and I meant it with the same tone you reserve for funerals and tax audits. Patrick didn't notice, just nodded like I'd done him a favor and walked off to update his executive bio or whatever corporate theater he was playing that day. I sat in that chair, my chair, for another 45 minutes. Didn't work. Just stared at the wall where I'd mounted the whiteboard that tracked our critical path milestones. 18 years of my life had been quietly built into that space. My coffee-stained reference binders, my broken chair that only I could adjust just right, the worn spot on the carpet where I paced during late-night equipment failures when our injection molding line went down. And in one casual flick of his tongue, it was being reassigned to nepotism with business school debt. Now I know what you're thinking. Why didn't I fight it? Why didn't I march into his office and throw my resignation through his window? Because I'd already done that, metaphorically, every day for the past decade, quietly, professionally, efficiently. And now I was done. Not angry, not even sad, just done. So I packed 3 things. My ceramic coffee mug with the chip in the rim from when I knocked it against the CNC machine control panel during the 2019 production crisis. My leather-bound notebook with almost 2 decades of handwritten crisis protocols, supplier contact numbers, and equipment override sequences that weren't documented anywhere else. And a flash drive that looked ordinary but contained the keys to everything that actually mattered. I left the rest. The dual monitors I'd requisitioned myself after budget cuts eliminated equipment upgrades, the ergonomic keyboard that saved my wrists during 60-hour weeks, even the little basket of energy bars I kept for those long nights when the automotive line ran behind schedule and missing delivery windows meant contract penalties. Let Ryan figure out which supplier delivers precision components on time and which one requires 3 follow-up calls and a personal relationship built over 8 years of crisis management. Right before I shut the door behind me for what Patrick thought was a temporary remote arrangement, I took a photo of the space. Not for nostalgia, for documentation. I sent a brief note to HR. Transitioning to remote work temporarily while office reassignment occurs. Available via email and phone. Technically true. Monday rolled around and I watched from home as Ryan posted on his Instagram story, him spinning in my old chair with a caption that said, "Executive life begins now." There was a ring light in the background. A ring light. In an operations office where the primary concern was usually machine downtime and material flow optimization. I zoomed in and noticed he'd already mounted some kind of motivational poster over my production schedule whiteboard. Something about disrupting paradigms and synergizing excellence. I wondered if he even knew what a bill of materials was or could distinguish between a purchase order and a work order. The emails started coming in, nothing dramatic, just the usual, "Hey Kevin, do you know where the vendor master list went?" Messages that normally got answered before they were even sent. Simple questions about supplier lead times, quality specifications, and delivery schedules that kept our production lines running smoothly. I ignored them, not because I was being petty, but because I no longer worked there. Not really. My body wasn't in the building, and my goodwill had left the premises the moment I saw Ryan's protein shake sitting where my coffee mug used to be. While Patrick bragged about his son's fresh perspective on operational excellence in his weekly company email, I opened a spreadsheet of my own. One labeled Plan B. Because while they were busy redecorating my legacy with ring lights and motivational quotes, I had already started building my exit. Quietly, carefully, permanently. The last time I saw that office, the afternoon sun hit the desk just right. Golden light through dusty blinds, casting shadows across the floor I used to sweep myself when the cleaning crew got budget cut during the recession. I stood there for a moment, sipping from my chipped mug, black coffee, no sugar, the way you drink it when life's been grinding you since the mortgage crisis. There wasn't a box, no cardboard parade down the hallway, just my notebook stuffed with years of scribbled emergency procedures and color-coded contingencies. My mug. The small black flash drive with no label and too much power. It held the access codes, the vendor databases, the automation scripts. Basically, the digital duct tape that kept the company's production lines from falling apart during month-end rushes, when everyone else went home and left the real work to people who understood how things actually worked. Nobody ever asked where the magic lived. They were just happy the chaos organized itself every time. I shut the door behind me soft. Not a slam, not a statement. Just done. Walked out past reception like I was headed to grab lunch, not disappear from their organizational chart. Nobody noticed. That was the point. I'd built a career on being invisible, the kind of presence that only becomes obvious once it's gone, like the hum of machinery or the rhythm of a well-tuned production line. I typed the message to HR while sitting in my pickup truck, engine running but going nowhere. Hi Michelle, transitioning to remote work temporarily while we complete the office reassignment, available via email as needed, clean and professional like a business handshake. Hit send, watch the delivery confirmation appear. Then I turned my phone to silent. I didn't log into our project management system, didn't set up auto replies, just evaporated. That Monday, Ryan rolled in like a homecoming king entering a machine shop. His LinkedIn got updated before he even found the men's room. Operations manager, strategic growth specialist, future industry leader. I got that from a coworker who screenshotted it and texted your replacements here. He brought a vision board and a coffee subscription service and a whole philosophy about disrupting traditional manufacturing paradigms that he'd apparently learned from a business podcast during his commute from his downtown apartment. He spent the morning filming a first day in operations video, complete with slow-motion walks through the production floor and a time-lapse of him organizing his desk supplies. Posted it on his personal brand Instagram with hashtags about leadership and manufacturing excellence. Meanwhile, the purchase orders I usually approved by 9 a.m. sat untouched in the system queue. The supplier dashboard blinked red warnings about delayed confirmations. One of our biggest clients had flagged a delivery delay that was about to cascade into a line shutdown, costing them $15,000 per hour in lost production. The Monday morning production meeting invite I used to send every week never got created. But nobody panicked. Not yet. They figured I'd handle it eventually like I always did. Send the meeting link from home, dial in remotely, keep the wheels turning even if I wasn't physically in the building. Thing is, I wasn't handling anything anymore. I wasn't correcting Ryan's emails at midnight or quietly fixing his spreadsheet formulas or ghostwriting responses to make him sound like someone who'd actually managed a production schedule. I was done. While Ryan stapled motivational quotes to my old bulletin board and asked IT to help him sync his fitness tracker to the company network, I opened a new browser tab and started filing LLC paperwork for something called Walsh Operations Consulting. Walsh was my grandfather's name. He taught me how to read technical drawings when I was 12, standing into the garage of our old house while he rebuilt truck transmissions for the local fleet company. He used to say, "The quiet ones don't get the credit, son, but they get the leverage." I didn't understand it then. I do now. I wasn't planning a comeback. I was planning a replacement. Me, but independent. Me, unchained from executives in expensive suits who gave away my workspace like it was a participation trophy for showing up with the right last name. I built a service menu: operations troubleshooting, vendor relationship management, crisis intervention. Stuff I already did, but now with a price tag that reflected 18 years of institutional knowledge and a client base that actually valued expertise. My first inquiry came that afternoon from a mid-sized supplier we'd used for precision machining. "Hey Kevin, heard you were consulting now. We're drowning in quality control issues with our new automated inspection equipment. You available for a call?" Didn't answer right away. I watched as 3 more emails came in. Then a fourth from someone who still hadn't realized I wasn't monitoring the production floor anymore, asking about the hydraulic press calibration schedule and whether we'd confirmed the weekend maintenance window with the union shop steward. No one had noticed yet. No alarms, no red flags. That was the beauty of it. You don't panic when the lights flicker. You wait until everything goes dark. I just leaned back in my kitchen chair, sipped my coffee, and let the dimming begin. Tuesday morning came and went, and for the first time in 18 years, the weekly operations report didn't land in senior management inboxes by 8:15 a.m. sharp. No production metrics, no supplier performance summaries, no carefully formatted analysis of line efficiency and bottleneck resolution that kept the executives looking competent during client calls. Just silence, where order used to live. By 10:30, someone from finance messaged Ryan. "Hey, do you know where the ops status report is? Kevin usually sends it by now." Ryan replied with a thumbs-up emoji. An hour passed. Nothing followed. By noon, the production VP sent a more pointed message. "Need that report before my client call at 1 p.m. Can someone grab it off the shared drive?" Problem was, the report didn't live on any shared drive. It never had. The data sources were manually compiled from 6 different systems: our ERP, the quality management database, supplier portals, shipping logistics, inventory tracking, and equipment maintenance logs. The formatting required custom formulas I'd built in 2019 to prevent the whole dashboard from crashing every time our ancient MRP system hiccuped during month-end processing. Nobody knew that but me. I sat at my kitchen table with a legal pad and a pen, sketching out client tiers for my new consultancy. Tier 1, full operations audit with process optimization. Tier 2, crisis intervention and emergency troubleshooting. Tier 3, monthly retainer with vendor relationship, management and quality oversight. I sipped lukewarm coffee and let the work emails keep piling up like snow that nobody was bothering to shovel. Another one popped up around 1:15, this time from Patrick's assistant. "Hi, Kevin." Small hiccup. "Can you resend the master supplier database? Ryan can't find it in your old system folder." Cute. Your old system folder. As if I'd just misplaced it somewhere like car keys. As if it didn't require rotating security credentials I manually updated every 2 weeks and backup protocols that sent encrypted copies to a drive that now sat plugged into my personal laptop while I built branded invoices for Walsh Operations Consulting. I didn't answer. Let them squint at broken pivot tables and try to make sense of supplier codes that hadn't been updated since Ryan was in high school learning about supply chain theory instead of living it. I'd built an entire ecosystem on quiet competence. And now they were discovering what happened when the foundation got pulled out from under them. But still no real panic, just mild confusion. They thought I was working from home, logged in somewhere, just being quiet, maybe a little moody about the office situation. I was none of those things. I was busy. At 2:40, another message from Michelle in HR. "Hi, Kevin, just checking in to make sure remote work is going smoothly. Let us know if you need any equipment or support." I ignored that one too. Instead, I created a client intake form for Walsh Operations Consulting. Under the logo I'd designed, clean, professional, no nonsense, I wrote, "Tell me what's broken. I'll tell you what it costs to fix it." I'd kept a mental list for years. Suppliers I trusted, clients I respected, people who used to whisper, "You're the only reason this place runs smoothly," after difficult calls with manufacturing partners when equipment broke down or quality issues threatened to shut down entire production lines. They'd come around. Not all of them, but enough. And when they did, I'd be ready. By 3:15, our procurement manager flagged a halted contract renewal with our primary steel supplier. Apparently, the automated extension script had failed to trigger, because it didn't exist. That was me, manually handled every month after cross-checking pricing thresholds, delivery schedules, and quality specifications, all logged in my black notebook sitting safely on my kitchen counter. At 4:22, Ryan posted another photo to his Instagram story. My desk, with a motivational caption, "First week crushing it, optimizing workflows and maximizing operational synergies." I screenshotted it, not for revenge, just for the record. Maybe someday I'd frame it next to my new business license. Meanwhile, the contracts team scrambled to fix the steel supplier delay by resending outdated terms and conditions. The supplier replied within an hour. "These pricing structures expired 6 months ago. Please contact Kevin Walsh directly. We only discuss contract modifications with him." That email got forwarded to me at 5:03 p.m. I let it sit in my inbox like an unpaid bill, gathering digital dust. By Thursday, the cracks weren't just showing, they were starting to echo through the building like a machine running without proper lubrication. It began with a forward from our largest automotive client, the kind of client who doesn't call unless something's bleeding money on an assembly line. Subject line, Kevin Walsh, urgent response required. The message read, simple and sharp. We need Kevin to confirm the production sequence override protocols. No one else seems to understand how the manual backup system works when the primary scheduling software crashes. Is he still with your organization? That email bounced from the client liaison to the project manager, who kicked it over to Ryan with a hopeful, "Can you handle this?" Ryan, in true business school fashion, replied, "Absolutely. Kevin's just transitioning to remote operations oversight, but I'll circle back with him and get you sorted. Thanks for your patience during this organizational enhancement." He copied no one, attached nothing, and then, because he couldn't help himself, added a smiley face emoji to a message about potential production line shutdowns. The client didn't respond. They CC'd my personal email instead. Subject line, not sure what's happening over there, but keeping you in the loop. They knew. Not the details, not the internal politics, but they knew something was wrong. People like that, longtime partners, manufacturing veterans, supply chain professionals who'd been through multiple economic cycles, they don't need red flags waving. They hear the silence between the gears and know when bearings are about to seize. Meanwhile, back at headquarters, Patrick was busy hosting a company-wide video conference. Title, Manufacturing Excellence, 2025, Innovation and Operational Leadership. Ryan stood next to him like a prop in an expensive suit, nodding seriously while Patrick dropped buzzwords like scalable efficiency and disruptive logistics paradigms and next-generation operational thinking. I watched from home, sandwich in hand. When Patrick introduced Ryan as the next generation of operational leadership, bringing fresh perspectives to traditional manufacturing challenges, my neighbor's dog started barking through the window, which felt metaphorically appropriate. The only thing Ryan had successfully optimized was the coffee machine settings to make his preferred oat milk latte. But his LinkedIn was thriving. New banner photo, professional headshot with studio lighting, bio updated to operations executive, strategic innovator, manufacturing transformation leader. He was untouchable because he was Patrick's son. Dangerous in the way that only well-connected inexperience can be when it's given authority over systems that require decades to understand properly. The funny thing was, Ryan kept telling people I was shadowing him remotely, shadowing, like I was some kind of digital mentor, watching through the security cameras, waiting for him to assign me a task or ask for guidance. I didn't correct anyone. Why should I? Let the myth spread through the company like smoke through ventilation systems. I updated my LinkedIn too. Nothing flashy, just real. Founder and principal consultant, Walsh Operations Consulting LLC. Within 3 hours, I had 8 connection requests from suppliers, former clients, even a former coworker who once called me the backbone of this operation during someone's retirement party when people were feeling honest after a few drinks. I accepted them all. By Friday, a European precision parts supplier flagged a major shipment delay. No one had confirmed the quantity specifications for customs clearance documentation. That was me, always had been. I'd built a conditional alert system in our procurement portal years ago to auto-flag when orders exceeded certain threshold limits that required additional paperwork. Ryan had disabled it during his first week, said it was too aggressive and made him nervous with all the pop-up notifications. Now 50 tons of precision components were sitting in a Hamburg warehouse, customs officials breathing down someone's neck about incomplete documentation, and the VP of manufacturing was texting in all caps about potential line shutdowns that could cost the company $200,000 in penalty fees. "Where is Kevin?" he texted to Patrick. Patrick didn't respond. He was too busy sharing Ryan's latest post about embracing challenges and driving innovative solutions in dynamic manufacturing environments. And in the background, I was building something that couldn't be taken away from me. I'd rented a business address, registered the domain name, designed invoice templates that looked professional instead of desperate, real letterhead, proper business banking, liability insurance. I even booked a call with a client who said, "I don't care who signs the checks, Kevin. We just want production lines that work again and someone who understands that downtime costs real money." The best part? My phone hadn't rung once from Patrick. No groveling, no begging, not yet. Just confusion, discomfort, and early signs of a system realizing it was missing its central nervous system. I didn't miss the office. I missed nothing. Not the fluorescent lighting that gave me headaches during 12-hour days, not the recycled air that smelled like industrial carpet and machine oil, not the forced enthusiasm in Monday morning staff meetings where we pretended everything was running smoothly. I had natural light streaming through my kitchen window, a desk that was actually mine, and control over my own schedule for the first time in 18 years. Let them wonder where I was. Let them call it a sabbatical, a mental health break, early retirement. Let Ryan smile through it with his motivational desktop wallpaper and his color-coded sticky note system, because the more he answered questions on my behalf, the louder the silence became. By the following Monday, the polite questions had curdled into real problems that kept people awake at night staring at their phones. The first bomb dropped at 8:03 a.m. Eastern. A compliance violation notice hit the inbox of our top-tier automotive client, the one with government contracts, ISO 9001 certifications, and lawyers who never sleep and bill by the minute. Subject line, production protocol breach, immediate response required. Inside, a list of missed quality checkpoints, unverified batch records, and one damning sentence that made my coffee taste better. This documentation failure may constitute a violation of Section 4.2.3 of our Quality Assurance Agreement. Continued service suspension pending immediate resolution. Section 4.2.3 was no joke. Section 4.2.3 meant fines, audits, possible contract termination, and the kind of legal exposure that makes CFOs break out in cold sweats. For the last 8 years, I'd handled that protocol manually, twice a week, like clockwork. Logged into their secure portal with dual authentication, cross-referenced our batch numbers against their quality standards, and manually submitted verification reports through their private compliance system. No automation, no shortcuts, no delegating to junior staff, just me, every Tuesday and Friday at 6 a.m. sharp before the rest of the building was even awake. Nobody else even knew it was being done. By 8:17, the internal panic had begun spreading through the company like smoke through air vents. Ryan, bless his optimistic MBA heart, sent a message to the client. Thanks for the heads up. Our quality assurance team is looking into this technical issue. Kevin Walsh is overseeing the back-end compliance transition remotely while we optimize our documentation workflows. The client didn't respond with words. They sent a production hold order instead. Complete suspension of all deliveries until the compliance issue was resolved and verified by Kevin Walsh personally. That's when Patrick finally called me. The name popped up on my phone like a fire alarm in a quiet house. I let it ring twice, then answered with the same tone I used for telemarketers. Kevin. His voice had changed completely. That confident executive bark was gone, replaced by something tight and strained, like he was smiling while swallowing broken glass. Hey Patrick, small hiccup here. We had a little mix-up with the automotive compliance portal this morning. Probably just a technical glitch that got blown out of proportion. Simple fix. Just wondering if you had a minute to jump in and take a look at it. I didn't answer right away. Let the silence stretch just long enough to make him uncomfortable, like waiting for a machine to restart after an emergency stop. I'm not available for that, I said, calm as a January morning. He coughed nervously. Right, of course. Totally understand. I wouldn't normally ask, but this is that specialized thing you always handled so well. Super quick fix. 10 minutes tops. I'm not available in general, I replied, but I do offer remote consulting now through my company. If you're interested, I can send you my service rates. I could hear it then. The exact moment when reality hit him like a hydraulic press. That sound when someone realizes they're not talking to an employee anymore. Not a subordinate, not a safety net, not someone who owed them anything. Just a service provider with a price sheet and professional boundaries. Oh. Well, I guess we could work something out. If you just shoot over your, hourly rate? I work on retainer, I said. 90-day minimum, paid up front. Crisis intervention starts at $15,000. He went quiet for so long I thought the call had dropped. I could picture him staring at his phone like a broken piece of equipment he didn't know how to fix. Send me the details, he finally muttered. We'll talk later. Sure thing, Patrick. I hung up. I didn't send anything. 3 weeks after Ryan moved into my old office, the fantasy finally shattered completely. The layoffs came quietly, announced through a sterile email with corporate language about streamlining operations and realigning resources around the simple truth everyone already knew. They were bleeding money faster than they could count it. 18 people lost their jobs, some new hires, some who'd been there longer than Ryan had been alive. No real severance, no explanation of how a profitable company had suddenly become unprofitable. 2 major clients, ones I'd built relationships with through years of midnight troubleshooting and emergency repairs, announced they were reevaluating vendor partnerships in carefully worded press releases. 72 hours later, both signed comprehensive service agreements with Walsh Operations Consulting. The contracts arrived like oxygen after holding your breath. Clean, professional, decisive. Let us know what you need to get started, and excited to finally work directly with the operational expertise we've always relied on. I didn't gloat, didn't post about it on social media, no victory laps or told you so messages, just quiet competence. Contracts signed, systems stabilized, problems solved. Exactly what they were paying for. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even, it's getting ahead. And sometimes, when someone mistakes your quiet competence for weakness, the smartest thing you can do is show them what happens when the quiet part goes away.